Hello my beautiful friend, I'm Lamigno and today we are fulfilling a special request by Reddit forum user skmojo99 who has asked for a RuneScape mining system. Now he says, is it possible to recreate mining like in RuneScape where there is only a certain percent that you will get in ore and that percent increases with a better pick? Whereas the ore respawns after you break it, but on a delay that is changeable. Now, those of you who have been on my channel for a while know that I have created a RuneScape system like this before. However, I have greatly updated it to a much more efficient design that also includes pick efficiency. So let's go head out to the testing island here, and before we get there, let's grab a few pickaxes. Now here we have an iron pickaxe, a steel pickaxe, and a rune pickaxe, each going up in successive tiers. So in a sense, iron is the lowest tier and rune is the highest tier. We also have 3 ore blocks here. Now in normal Minecraft, when you break a block, that block turns into an item and it's gone. However, if we were to break this, there's actually a chance that it will not break immediately. And so as long as you keep mining at it, after a certain random, or at least to the player unpredictable amount of time, they will get an item. Now this is just a test item. It can be any item that you want, and as you can see, after a certain amount of time, the block comes back. Now let's go to the coal block here, and wow, that's actually pretty quick. Now the coal actually has a much slower random factor than the block. In a sense, it would have taken a lot longer to break, but due to the fact that I used a higher tier pickaxe, it took less time. Now this lapis block I have programmed to take the longest amount of time, so let's go ahead and just try and break that. And as you can see, the tile drops are on true, items are being dropped, and that is an important factor into how these work. Let's see, will lapis cooperate? Yes, there we go. We got a test lapis, test coal, and test iron. And I also programmed this one to respawn the quickest out of all the 3. So it just boop, it came right back. So let's go see what's behind these crazy commands. Let's head over to the spawn chunks where I have these set up. Now, again, with most command setups, they kind of look scary if you don't know what's going on, but it's very simple. I divided it into groups, and basically each group is repeated 3 times. So you see there are 3 command blocks in this little clump here, and that's for each of the blocks that we have. But before we get into that, it's important to know that we have a dummy objective I've called RS Mine. It can be any name that you want. I've called it that. And the next thing you need to know is, let's see, okay, so you see I have a score of this dummy objective. Now when I hold a pickaxe, that score starts to count up, and when it reaches 100, it resets back down to 0. Now I'm holding the stone, also named iron pickaxe, but if I were to hold the steel one, you see that the timer actually goes a bit quicker. And if I hold the rune one, it actually goes the quickest. That's what these command blocks do here. If I'm holding that item, my score goes up by either 1, by 2, or by 5. Now that mechanic is what makes this so-called randomness that I've implemented into the system. Now, relative to the item entity that drops when I mine a block, like a block iron ore, or an item coal, or multiple items like dye with a damage value of 4, which is the lapis dye, that item tests for a player with that particular score. Now, this can be changed. This also can alter how often the block drops. So if a player nearby this item has a score of 80 to 100, the item will summon a armor stand. And this armor stand has a variety of properties, and the most important one is its name. Now the item or iron ore item will summon a armor stand named iron, and that armor stand will be executing these commands over here. But first, before we get to those, the item will first set block iron ore again. So if the armor stand is not summoned by the item, then we'll have to keep mining at it until one does get summoned, and then this one just removes those items. Now, also the player will be given a particular item, so test lapis, test coal, test iron, whatever you want to give the player. If they mine successfully, that's what they'll get. And what happens is that armor stand is like a timer, and after a certain amount of time, based off of the RS mine score, it will set its own particular block and remove itself. So if you keep looking at the right side of the screen where the scoreboard objective is seen, I'll just throw myself into adventure mode. As you can see, these pickaxes can break particular blocks. If I were to break this iron, you see the score is starting to count up, and once it reaches 100, I've set it to be at 100, it will set the block and then be destroyed. So yeah, that's basically all there is to it. There's one other thing I want to go over before signing you off, and that is this could be one thing with armor stands is that if you don't name an armor stand, so if I were just to go say at entity within 4 blocks of me, you see that its name consists of 2 words. Now for command selectors, particularly name selectors, you can't have spaces or quotations in there. So if you would want to have another armor stand in the world with these commands running, it would, set block stone slab here, the rocky outcrop, and that's not something we want. So what you can do is that I've added an additional team. This team is called anything. I've called it not mining. And what this not mining does is that it adds armor stands to that team. And so they won't start counting up RS mine, the dummy objective, or setting blocks. And that's because over here, this command is set to add all armor stand scores, so as long as they're not on the team not mining. That's all for today's commands. Your beautiful face here means so much to me. I appreciate it every time I see it, and I so do look forward to seeing that beautiful face again in the next episode.